Good morning and welcome to Hilltop Cemetery in Leeds. Now today we are here to visit the final resting place of a young lady who sadly had her life taken from her. Now I saw a documentary on this recently and I think they were calling it the fridge murder. Apparently her body had been stored in a fridge or a freezer for 9 months. So that means we must be talking about Leanne Tiernan. Leanne Tiernan, a young lady who was taken against her will when she got off the bus from doing her Christmas shopping. Another sad one, I'm afraid. But anyway, let's spin you around. We'll have a look around this cemetery while I tell you a little bit about Leanne Tiernan.
Leanne Tiernan was born in Leeds on the 27th of September 1984. Her parents were Sharon Hawkhead and Michael Tiernan. When her parents divorced, she lived with her mother and older sister Michelle. Leanne was a very slim girl who wore an eyebrow ring which was very fashionable in the early 90s, and she stood at a height of approximately 5 feet 4 inches. She had been a very bright girl and had been a pupil at West Leeds High School, where she achieved excellent grades. On the evening of 26th of November 2000, Leanne was on her way home from a Christmas shopping trip in Leeds town centre. She had been shopping for gifts in the city with her friend. After finishing their shopping, the two girls shared a bus ride into the suburb of Armley. After getting off the bus, they parted company near a friend's home on Howley Lane. Leanne then continued towards her home alone. She walked along an unlit path known to the locals as Howley Hill, and which her mother had warned her never to use after dark. While there are no eyewitnesses to what happened next, it was later reported that someone had heard a stifled scream coming from the Howley Hill direction. When she arrived home, her friend phoned Leanne's home and was surprised to learn that she hadn't arrived home yet. Leanne's mother, who had answered the call, was slightly worried but assumed Leanne had possibly bumped into a friend and would arrive home soon after. At 5:20 p.m. she called Leanne's mobile phone, but it just rang for a while and then cut off. When she rang it again, it cut off after just 4 rings. At 7 p.m. Leanne's mother phoned the police and reported her daughter missing. The police immediately began a missing person inquiry headed by Detective Superintendent Chris Gregg, and a search of the area where Leanne was last seen was carried out, but no trace of her was found. The missing person inquiry which followed was one of the largest in the history of West Yorkshire Police. It involved a search of around 1,750 buildings, including homes on what the police called the Red Route, which is a route between where Leanne was last seen and her home. They also checked 800 garden sheds, garages and outbuildings, and also 150 commercial buildings within a half-mile radius of Howley Hill. Underwater searches of 32 drainage wells were carried out, and a 2-mile stretch of a Leeds and Liverpool canal was drained to a depth of 1 metre. Yorkshire Water was also called in to assist in locating disused drains and wells. The police even halted collections of household waste to allow officers to search through it before it was disposed of. The inquiry also received help from British Waterways, British Transport Police, the Ministry of Defence's Aerial Reconnaissance Department, Calder Valley Search and Rescue Team, Interpol, and the police's National Search Centre. The supermarket chain Iceland printed Leanne's picture on its milk cartons and distributed them nationwide. A local businessman also generously offered a £10,000 reward for information leading to Leanne's safe return. But all of this was to no avail. By now, 9 months had passed when on 20th of August 2001, a man out walking his dog in Lindley Woods near Otley, 50 yards from a busy car park, noticed a bundle laying in the undergrowth. He immediately called the police. It was now a murder inquiry codenamed Operation Conifer. The bundle the dog walker found was the body of a young girl wrapped inside 9 green plastic bin bags, secured with twine, with a black bin bag secured around her head with a leather dog collar, then placed inside a floral patterned duvet cover. Plastic cable ties had been used as a ligature to strangle her, and more had been used to bind her hands. A scarf was also wrapped around her neck. Her hair was still tied in a ponytail with the same band and hair clips that she had been wearing when she disappeared. Leanne's body provided clues about her killer, but hopes of a quick breakthrough were dashed when no foreign DNA was discovered on her body. The police made an appeal for people linked to the Bramley area of Leeds and Lindy Woods. The appeal produced hundreds of names. One of those names was John Taylor. Next, they went to great lengths to trace people in the Bramley area who had purchased a dog collar matching the one found on Leanne's body. They contacted more than 100 pet shops and suppliers before finding one who kept computerized records. One of those customers had bought a number of similar dog collars and lived in Bramley. His name was John Taylor. When the same name appeared in 2 separate lines of inquiry, it was impossible to ignore. John Taylor became the prime suspect. 44-year-old John Taylor was a parcel force delivery driver and lived within a mile of where Leanne had been abducted. He was known locally as the Pet Man, as he kept several animals at his home including dogs and ferrets, and was a keen poacher. He was divorced and had children. The fact that Taylor worked for Parcel Force was significant, as some of the cable ties found on Leanne's body were supplied almost exclusively to Parcel Force's parent company, Royal Mail. Police began searching Taylor's house with a fine tooth comb. They found cable ties and a dog collar identical to those found with Leanne's body. Police used forensic scientists to prove Leanne had been at Taylor's house. Scientists had discovered a pink carpet fibre on the jumper Leanne had been wearing when she was found. Pink carpet fibres were then found attached to a nail in Taylor's house. Forensic scientists also found a hair caught in the knot of the scarf found around Leanne's neck. When tested, the DNA matched John Taylor. Pieces of green plastic identical to those which had been used to wrap Leanne's body were found in his house. 10 months after Leanne disappeared, John Taylor was arrested and charged with the abduction and murder of Leanne Tiernan. On 8th of July 2002, Taylor entered a guilty plea with respect to the murder of Leanne Tiernan. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum tariff of 20 years. As the police still had his DNA, they were able to connect it to 2 other offences committed on the estate where Taylor lived. The first was an attack on a 32-year-old woman on 18th of October 1988. The second was an attack on a 21-year-old woman inside her home on the 1st of March 1989. Taylor eventually pled guilty to both of these offences at Leeds Crown Court on the 4th of February 2003. He was sentenced to a further 2 life sentences. Taylor has denied involvement in any other crimes. However, on 26th of October 2018, he was sentenced to a whole life order for a series of sexual offences. After Taylor's conviction for the murder of Leanne Tiernan in 2002, DCI Chris Gregg said, "He is a callous and cunning individual. He thought he had got away with it. He made many mistakes. But he kept Leanne in a freezer in his kitchen for 9 months. Why did he take her out when he did and dispose of a body 20 miles away when he did? We will never know, because he has never confessed to that part. The simple explanation we feel is his freezer broke down. People who used to go into that house told us that he had an upright freezer that suddenly disappeared. That sums this guy up. He should never be released from prison." Leanne Tiernan was laid to rest at Hill Top Cemetery in Armley, West Yorkshire, which is where we are today.
Well, that's all the information I could get on Leanne Tiernan. Now that fella, he's done a lot more than they've caught him for. This is a very oldie-worldy cemetery with a couple of new sections. Never been here before, but when I got to this section, I just knew she was in here. I knew the section she was in, I could feel it. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll spin you around and we'll go and have a look at a final resting place together. Well, it's just over here. Yeah, I could feel it in my water. When I came into this section, I just knew she was here. She's not on Find a Grave. Well, her grave is on Find a Grave, but there's no map telling you how to find her grave on Find a Grave. But she's got a lot of flowers. It's this one right here. In loving memory of Leanne Tiernan, tragically taken from us, aged 16 years, so greatly loved and missed. November rain never forever falls. But that is the final resting place of Leanne Tiernan. Yeah, that sick excuse for a human being. He committed more crimes than they've got him for, and they got him for a lot. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. And if you like the content, maybe consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Anyway, that's me, Darren, from Hilltop Cemetery in Leeds, on the border of North and West Yorkshires. I will see you on the next one. So bye bye for now.